Most of us were raised to believe that being nice is a virtue. We were taught to avoid conflict, keep everyone happy, smile through discomfort, and put the needs of others before our own. But what if we've been confusing niceness with kindness? They may look similar on the surface, but they come from two very different places. Kindness comes from love. Niceness comes from fear. Kindness asks, what is the most loving response in this moment? Niceness asks, what do I need to do so this person likes me? Kindness is honest. Niceness often hides the truth. Kindness respects boundaries. Niceness sacrifices them. Kindness is freely given. Niceness is often given in exchange for approval. One flows from self-respect. The other often grows from self-doubt. The price we pay for being nice. People who struggle with authenticity frequently become experts at being nice. They say yes when they desperately want to say no. They apologize for things that aren't their fault. They avoid difficult conversations. They smile while resentment quietly builds underneath. Sometimes they even tell little white lies, not because they're dishonest people, but because they're terrified of disappointing someone else. Sound familiar? In March 2024, I wrote a blog titled, "What Does It Mean to Be Authentic and Why Is It Important?" In it, I shared the story of a woman who canceled dinner plans with her best friend by claiming she had been called into work. The truth was much simpler. She was exhausted and needed an evening alone. There was nothing wrong with needing rest. The only problem was believing she couldn't simply say so. That is what people-pleasing does. It convinces us that other people's comfort is more important than our own honesty. Why we default to niceness. If kindness comes from the heart, why do so many of us default to being nice? The answer often has little to do with compassion and everything to do with acceptance. We learn that keeping everyone happy earns approval, avoids conflict, and protects us from rejection. Over time, we begin editing ourselves, our opinions, our needs, and even our boundaries in exchange for being liked. Kindness is authentic. Kindness isn't driven by the need to be liked, accepted, or approved of. It is an outward expression of living in alignment with your values and acting from the heart. Because it comes from a place of authenticity, it doesn't pretend, manipulate, or seek approval. Instead, it reflects genuine compassion while remaining true to your values. But it's also important to note that being kind doesn't mean saying yes to everything or avoiding difficult conversations. That's niceness. Sometimes the kindest response isn't saying yes. It's saying no with honesty, respect, and compassion. When kindness grows from authenticity, it is honest, compassionate, and free of hidden agendas. It can say yes with joy, no without guilt, and speak difficult truths with empathy. What does this have to do with health? More than you might think. Pretending to be someone you're not is exhausting. Constantly suppressing your feelings, saying yes when you want to say no, and ignoring your own needs creates chronic stress. Over time, your body learns that everyone else's wants and expectations take priority over your own. That emotional burden can become just as draining as any physical one. I've worked with enough people over the years to recognize a common thread. Those who struggle to set healthy boundaries often struggle with chronic stress as well. Healing isn't only about nutrition and exercise. It's also about giving yourself permission to stop pretending and start living authentically. Ask yourself these questions this week. Do I say yes when I really mean no? Am I being kind or am I trying to be liked? Where am I sacrificing authenticity to avoid disappointing someone? Do my words reflect what I truly think and feel? What boundary have I been afraid to set? Authenticity takes courage. It asks us to risk disapproval in exchange for something far more valuable, self-respect. And when your life begins to flow from love instead of fear, everything changes. If setting healthy boundaries feels uncomfortable, or if you've spent a lifetime putting everyone else's needs ahead of your own, you don't have to figure it out alone. Schedule a discovery session today. Let's discuss what's possible. All the links can be found below in the description.